What I said in my last live was, there's no hard and fast rules to this, and, you do what you feel like your body needs, what you're comfortable with doing. I say, like, no sugar, no meat, but, or no processed foods. But again, if you feel like, you need meat, then, then you do what's right for you. I will say, as a caveat, obviously, if you are pregnant, breastfeeding, or you have a condition, please talk to your doctor or your health practitioner so that, you can do this safely and responsibly, obviously. So that being said, right. Specific foods that we're gonna eat or that you may want to put on like a grocery list or something like that. Now this is not an exhaustive list. This is just, a little bit of research that I did and, just things that I'm gonna be, using or eating or whatever. So this incense I actually got at my local metaphysical shop, and I think I've told you guys about my local metaphysical shop. Or no, maybe that was a YouTube video. The woman there, I like her. She's an interesting woman, very strong. She calls herself a high priestess, so, she's, I guess you would say she's a witch, or she calls herself a witch. And, it's really nice having somebody like that, so close to me, somebody who I can, ask about, things having to do with the occult and metaphysics. But like one of the last few times I went in there, like I was having a conversation with her and she was like, nope, that's not right. Nope, that's not right. And I went back and did my research on those things, and it turns out I was right. So long story short, and it was like one of those things where like, oh my gosh, like, should I even say anything? Is that petty? Like, I was gonna bring her a gift to bring it up. So anyway, I trashed that whole like giving her a gift idea, and I was just gonna go in for incense and whatever. And I wasn't even gonna say anything. I actually had decided, like, you know what? It's petty. I don't even care. And when I was there in the shop, it felt right to say something. Like, I couldn't really let it slide. There was something inside me, and it wasn't really my ego. And I don't think ego is even necessarily a bad thing. I know this isn't what this live is about, but that whole myth about like, oh, you have to like kill your ego, like, I don't think that's true. Like, I think that a healthy ego is actually a good thing. I think that, ego is part of what sort of, forms not only our personality, but our drive, like a certain level of our drive, a certain level of our willpower, right? It's only when it's unhealed, unhealthy that it kind of becomes toxic, but, a healthy ego is a good thing. And anyway, so I'm like in this shop and I'm just like so nervous because she's a lot older and I'm just like not confrontational like that. I know a lot of people who know me probably think that I am confrontational, but I'm really not. It's only when like, you poke the bear and yeah, like that, you don't want to see that part of me. But anyway, so, I very like calmly, or as calm as I could be, I was just like, yeah, like this is what my research, showed me. And at first she was like completely not receptive to it. She's like, nope, you're wrong. And I was like, okay, but the story of Parvati was that Shiva needed a destroyer, and so Parvati transformed herself into Kali. Like, Kali is not separate from Parvati. Parvati transforms into Kali. So that was what like the issue was, and she was just like, okay, well, I'm not going to argue with you. So I was like, okay, yes, I got that one. And then there was actually like another thing. And this one was about like Orisha, which is, you know, Yoruba people in West Africa. There's a religion called Ifa, and they have these gods and goddesses called Orisha. And I had found, like, somebody had posted something about Mawu Lisa, which is not like a famous Orisha. Like, there are very famous Orisha. There's like, you know, the top 10 or whatever, but there's hundreds of Orisha. And so I had brought this up to her, and she's like, I never heard of Mawu Lisa. That's not a thing. And she's like, and, you know, meanwhile, she has like Orisha paraphernalia in her store. And so who am I to like argue with this woman who's had a metaphysical shop for 30 years? She sells Orisha items, and now I'm going to come in and tell her about Orisha? Like, you know, so, but I was, you know, I felt like saying like, hey, just look it up. And she's like, I will not. And that's the type of person she is. Like, she's not a very like friendly, sort of likable person, but I don't let that deter me from ingratiating myself with somebody. So I was like, you know, you can or you cannot. That's up to you. I'm giving you the information. I was like, Mawu Lisa is, you know, it's almost like, well, from what I interpreted, what I read online, it was like a kind of like a sister religion to Ifa. So, you know, it wasn't like Ifa necessarily, but anyway, so I finally got her to look it up, like she in the store. And she's like, oh, she's like, I've never heard of this. She's like, Mawu Lisa is the daughter of Obatala. Oh, that's so interesting. Like, I'm gonna have to look into this. And I was like, yes. You know, so it was like one of those moments where you feel vindicated, and, you know, all my nervousness went away, and we were just kind of like chit-chatting and laughing, and it was all good. And I guess I'm bringing that up. Like, why am I bringing that up? Oh, I was bringing that up because I'm burning her incense, which annoyingly keeps going out, and I'm not really feeling that. But, you know, part of the reason why I think I'm bringing it up is because, you know, interestingly enough, you know, what we were disagreeing about really captured the energy that I was in, right? So we're talking about Kali, and Kali is one of the goddesses that destroys ignorance. You know, she's created, or she transforms into this energy of Kali, you know, to kill the people who are, you know, not being righteous on earth, like the unrighteous, you know, and the ignorant, you know, and mostly like people who are kind of like taking advantage of their status and power, right? And so that's kind of like, to a much lesser extent, like that's kind of what I was doing in that moment, was trying to kind of be a destroyer of ignorance. It really had nothing to do with, you know, wanting to be right, because I already knew that I was right. And of course there's a part of you that wants the person who says that you're wrong. There's a part of you that wants that person to know that you're not wrong, and that they're wrong, and that you're right. But I really didn't feel like that's what it was. I really felt like it was more just like, I wanted her to know that, you know, she doesn't necessarily have all the answers, regardless of who's wrong or right. You know, in that moment, it was like the teacher became the student. And I think sometimes, you know, regardless of which side you're on, if you're the teacher or you're the student, you sort of get comfortable in that role, and don't ever doubt the, you know, the possibility that if you are the student, you may become the teacher, okay? And if you're the teacher, you may become the student. And in fact, in any given situation, we may be the teacher, we may be the student, right? And it's so good to just be open and flexible to whatever it is the universe is bringing to us in any given moment, right? Because if we're too stuck on being the student, you know, we might not have the courage to use our voice and speak our mind, right? And that's a missed opportunity, not only for the student to step into their power, but then it's also a missed opportunity for the teacher to learn from something from the student. And the same with, you know, not recognizing, you know, that the student may become the teacher, right? And also the concept of like destroying, you know, Kali. I mean, if you know what Kali looks like, Kali is like blue with her tongue out, and she has like 7 arms, and you know she looks crazy. But if you think about like what her purpose is, it's really like a righteous purpose. It's to destroy ignorance. And just this idea of destroying ignorance, it's, you know, it's not always like a straight line. It's not always straightforward. It's not always like, I go to school so that I won't be ignorant. Oh, I have a college degree, so I am a smart person and I am not ignorant. Like, no, there's many educated fools. There's many people who live on the street who are quite brilliant, right? So there's no like, so this concept of destroying ignorance can come in many different shapes and forms. And it's important for us to, again, be flexible. Like I was just talking to my best friend, Samara, shout out to Samara. And we were talking about, what did she bring up? We were texting, and she said something about, we were talking about like, we were talking about whatever, and then I was like, I said something like, you know, thanks for listening to me. And then I corrected myself. I mean, reading. And she was like, yeah, I was just talking to somebody about, you know, if you listen to a story, is that reading the story? Like, are you reading a book if you're listening to the book? And I guess the person that she was having this conversation with felt like maybe, you know, reading was just like the act of like looking at letters and reading them. And, you know, she sort of took the stance of reading is also listening. It could also be listening. And so I brought up the point of, you know, the function. What is the function of reading? Because, like, you know, in ABA, as a BCBA, it's all about the function, right? And not necessarily what the topography of the behavior looks like. And, you know, if the function is taking in information, you know, to process it, you know, to hear a story or to, you know, is the same as like seeing the words of a story. It's not functionally different, right? So is it the same exact thing? No, because, you know, you're using a different sensory apparatus to take in the information, but it's similar enough, right? And it requires flexible thinking, you know, to value hearing a story as much as reading a story, you know, because there are purists out there that believe like reading, nope, you have to read the words, right? You know, and then there are those of us who are a little bit more flexible where we're like, listen to it, read it, whatever, as long as you get the story, as long as you internalize the message, the content, that's the most important thing, right? You know, so this concept of like being flexible and versus being fixed. And, you know, 2023, we're doing this cleanse. to clear our minds, to clear our guts. You know, I think something else that we kind of want to take into 2023 is also just a bit of flexible thinking and doing away with rigidity. You know, understanding that, like, you know, flexibility is life. Like, everything changes. Everything is constantly changing, you know, ebbs and flows, you know, up and down. Rhythm is in everything. So rigidity doesn't really serve us in being like adaptable, right? Hi, Natalie. Hey, how you doing? It's good to, well, I wish I could actually like see you. It's been a while since I saw you, but I hope you're doing well. I'm just really just kind of like babbling on here. But I had a point. So the cleanse is about removal, replenish, and rejuvenate, right? So we're removing the toxins, we're replenishing with nutrients, and we're rejuvenating our health. Okay, so I'm gonna get into it. It is 444. And we're gonna start with lemons, limes. Lemons and limes are probably like the top thing for a cleanse / detox because, you know, they are natural blood cleaners. They have an excellent amount of vitamin C, and, you know, that's kind of what you need, right? I'm sure they have other health benefits, but I'm going to just kind of give a few of the health benefits of like each of the things that I bring up. Otherwise, we would be here for a really long time. So yes, lemons, limes. Also, I can, anybody who's interested, I can like send you this PDF that I created if you would like it. Or I could just kind of like create a list of items if you would like, you know, just to see kind of like a list of things to buy. Cranberries. So cranberries are a superfood rich in vitamin C, fiber, and have antibiotic, antioxidant, and immune boosting properties. So with cranberries, I'm probably going to get some like all natural cranberry juice. So again, if you're buying cranberry juice, do not buy it from like the shelf, like in the typical grocery store. Like, go to your all natural grocery store where you can get like 100% cranberry juice that doesn't have any sugar in it. Cranberries, I think, are also good for your urinary tract. I feel like people drink cranberry juice if they have like a UTI or something like that. So, oh my goodness. I almost fell off my chair. Sorry. Okay. Whew. All right. Grapefruits. Grapefruits are rich in pectin fiber, which helps your cholesterol levels, and it also helps to remove heavy metals. Grapefruit is good for detoxifying the liver and cleansing the intestinal tract. So I'm gonna really be focused on detoxifying my liver. I've been like drinking a lot of alcohol, you know, I mean, like I'll have like 1 or 2 drinks. It's been like for like the last, you know, week or so. Like I'll drink on and off, like I don't drink all the time, but it feels like recently I've been drinking a lot. So I really want to, you know, focus on cleansing and replenishing the nutrients in my liver. So that's what I'm going to be eating. Blueberries, rich in B6, vitamin C, potassium. They have high antioxidant and antibiotic properties, and they're good for your urinary tract as well. Apples, high amounts of pectin, which is a fiber that attaches to heavy metals, and cholesterol, so it cleanses the intestines and lowers the risk of heart disease. Apples are also really good for putting in juices. You know, so if you do have a juice machine, apples with like beets, you know, I love apples and beets. Like if I juice beets, I'll juice apples with the beets. and probably ginger too. But yeah, so apples are really good for juicing. So any kind of vegetable really goes well with apples. So highly recommend apples if you're juicing, but also just, whatever. Avocados. Obsessed with avocados. Obviously, right? Like, I live out in California, and avocados are pretty big out here. So avocados are a great source of monosaturated fats. They have a nutrient called glutathione, which blocks certain unhealthy fats. It also helps to block dozens of carcinogens and detoxifies the liver. I did not know that. I did not know that avocados detoxify the liver. Avocados are also like a really good source of fatty acids, and just like fat in general. So like, when you're cleansing or detoxing or fasting, well, not so much fasting, because if you're fasting, then you're not eating anything at all. But, it's important that you still have the nutrients that your body needs. And fat is still something that your body needs. So if you are really only eating fruit, it'll be kind of tough. Like, you'll probably be pretty hungry, because, the fats help you feel more full and that kind of thing. Fats have also, other benefits, which we will go into in a little bit. So cucumbers, a natural diuretic, helps the body flush toxins. They fight inflammation, and they have vitamins like B6 and vitamin C. Okay, so pineapple contains bromelain, which is a chemical that seems to interfere with tumor cells and slow blood clotting. I feel like there's other health benefits to pineapple that I'm missing here, but, do your own research or not. Yeah, pineapples are good. So watermelons are about 92% water, and they have vitamin B6, vitamin A, antioxidants, and amino acids. Watermelon is also high in lycopene, which supports heart health and bone health. Watermelon helps liver, kidneys filter and get rid of ammonia, which is interesting, and has been shown to relieve muscle soreness and have anti-inflammatory properties. So some people swear by watermelon. Like, I've seen some people out there just say that, like, if they do a juice fast, they'll like only use watermelon, or like they're on a watermelon fast. So watermelon is definitely a favorite in the, I don't know, like uber health community. Yeah. And it's also, you can also get like a big thing of watermelon, right? Like, you get a lot for your money, or you get more than you would for, let's say, strawberries, which is next on my list. So strawberries, obviously high in vitamin C. They also help clean the body of toxins. Yeah, so they're packed with antioxidants. Next up, we have vegetables. So some of the vegetables that you want to consider getting for this cleanse. Beets. Beets are well known as a liver cleanser and body purifier. They contain betalains, which have important anti-inflammatory and fungicidal properties. So with beets, I'm definitely going to get beets. I'm probably going to juice beets and, like, oven roast the beets. So I'll eat, but I'm not going to have like a beet juice and then eat beets at night. So I'll, kind of like sprinkle it all over the place, but I'm going to incorporate beets in different ways during my cleanse. So I'm going to eat them whole, but I'm also going to juice them. And since the last three things that I stated were red, strawberries, pomegranate, and beets, it is a good time to mention that anything red actually is an indication that it is good for your cardiovascular system. Okay, so, you know, certain red plants and fruits and vegetables, herbs, whatever, you know, they will indicate to you that they help with your cardiovascular by being red, right? And your cardiovascular, your heart, your blood is red, right? So, so that's sort of interesting. And, you know, if you do have concerns with your blood pressure, you know, think about incorporating more red foods into your diet. I also take a few other things for blood pressure, which I'm not going to talk about right now because that's unrelated. But if you're interested, just, you know, DM me and I can let you know. Okay, so next on vegetables is celery. So celery is another one that people use to detox, cleanse, fast, right? I'm sure you've seen the celery craze, the celery fast craze, where people are juicing celery all day and that's all they're drinking for like a week is celery juice, right? And it's supposed to have all these amazing benefits. What I have here is that it's rich in vitamin K, it has anti-inflammatory properties, and it supports healthy liver function and digestion. So celery juice is definitely a diuretic, because I've done that celery juice thing. It's definitely a diuretic, so be mindful of that. What else about celery? It's supposed to help also with like sleep. So, you know, you're supposed to, you know, it might help you sleep better. What else do I remember about celery? Those are really the only things that stick out in my mind, but celery is a good one. And then also celery, juice it or eat it whole, right? Doesn't really matter. I'll probably do both. So, you know, broccoli, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, what else is cruciferous? What are they called? Oh crap. Those little round, they look like cabbages, small cabbages, and like it's escaping me right now. Damn it. Anyway, I think those are cruciferous as well. What the hell are they called? Anyway, I don't really eat those. What the fuck are they called? It's gonna really bother me. Anyway, they're high in antioxidants. They help reduce the risk of certain cancers. Broccoli is higher in protein than most vegetables. Okay, so that's good to note. And it is a rich source of vitamins C, K, B9, folate, manganese, potassium, and iron. So really nutrient dense. You know, broccoli, I would definitely recommend if you eat broccoli on this cleanse, or just, I mean, I'm going to recommend it anyway and talk about it a little bit later, is a digestive enzyme. Okay, especially like if you're eating broccoli raw, it's going to be very, very taxing on your digestive system to break it down. And it's highly likely if you eat raw broccoli that you're going to feel like that gassiness, that bloating. So a digestive enzyme is really key for, you know, for those kind of vegetables, especially raw. Cabbage has antioxidant, anti-cancer compounds and helps cleanse the digestive tract and detoxifies the liver. So we're definitely going to be eating cabbage. Brussels sprouts. That was the other cruciferous vegetable that I was trying to think of. They're Brussels sprouts. Yeah. So I didn't put Brussels sprouts on this list, but if you like them, cool. You know, that's whatever. Kale is high in fiber and helps cleanse the intestinal tract. It also has excellent antioxidant properties and helps to combat some toxins from secondhand smoke, which is interesting. So yeah, kale, I absolutely love kale. I'll usually cook kale or juice it. I guess like I don't juice it that much, but I will on this cleanse. But I just, I like eating cooked kale, and so I'll probably do both again. Onions and garlic contain sulfur, which builds and fixes your DNA. It protects your cells from damage that leads to disease such as cancer. So onions and garlic are really good. Sulfur also assists the body to metabolize food and contributes to the health of your skin, tendons, and ligaments. I know other people use, which builds and fixes your DNA. It protects your cells from damage that leads to disease such as cancer. So onions and garlic are really good. Sulfur also assists the body to metabolize food and contributes to the health of your skin, tendons, and ligaments. I know other people use garlic for immune boosting reasons. Some people swear by it. Like, will just eat like a whole clove if they're feeling sick, and that apparently like knocks out their cold. So I'm guessing it has, those kind of nutrient properties, like like immune boosting properties as well. Mushrooms, antioxidants in mushrooms such as selenium, vitamin C, and choline protect the body against cancer causing free radicals. Again, I'm sure mushrooms have other health benefits. I just did not list them here. I love mushrooms. Just a side note, if you ever want to think about like, okay, so I want to just eat a healthy plant-based diet. What does that look like? G-bombs, okay? G-B-O-M-B-S, G-bombs is greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds, which includes nuts. So if you're ever wondering, like, how can I remember what to eat healthy? G-bombs, that's all you need. You don't need anything else. That's all you need. G-bombs. That's a perfect diet right there. Of course, most of us can't stay on the G-bomb diet because, we lack the self-discipline to do so. And, our society is just a bastion of temptation. So, it is what it is. So we're going to move on from fruits and vegetables to grains. So, from a nutritional standpoint, grains, and I'm reading my notes. So if it seems like I'm like disconnected, it's just because I'm reading my notes, and I just want to make sure that I'm giving you guys some good information. Okay, so from a nutritional standpoint, grains provide carbohydrates, protein, iron, calcium, potassium, and important B vitamins necessary for a balanced diet. Grains are an easily digestible source of energy for the body, which makes them a great choice during a detox. Okay, so whole grains contain fiber, and contain fiber. Fiber acts like a broom, sweeping clean the intestines and encouraging regular bowel movements. Which is obviously essential for optimal health, okay? And during a detox, obviously the toxins are being carried into the bowel for elimination. So increasing the diversity and quantity of the beneficial bacteria from grains promotes gut health and helps to ward off pathogens, okay? So, if wheat is your only grain, and wheat is pretty much, my only grain, well, rice too, And I do have sweet potatoes, but you know, I do eat a lot of wheat. So that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to eliminating from my diet, at least for a little while, is just taking a break from wheat and glutinous stuff like that. So here are a few grains. I'm not going to go into the health benefits because I was only going to really do that for fruits and vegetables. So again, if you're sort of curious about specific grains that I'm listing here, you know, go ahead and do your own research about that. So the grains that are acceptable for a cleanse are as follows: quinoa, millet, farro, barley, sweet potato, wild rice, winter squash, spelt, and buckwheat. Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak much to spelt. Oh, and then amaranth. The list goes on. Amaranth, basmati or brown rice, and oats. And I put oats last because I think oats are kind of glutinous. And I know Dr. Sebi does not recommend oats for like an alkaline diet, but you know, this is your thing, so you do it how you want to do it. I just would not recommend wheat or gluten, like wheat gluten, you know. That's the only thing that I would just try to eliminate from your diet. I'm going to be doing quinoa, sweet potato, probably brown rice if I have to. So those are kind of like the grains that I'm going to be using. I'm not even going to worry about bread, or else I would get like a flour, like an amaranth or a millet or a buckwheat flour. So if you wanted to make bread, I would use one of those grains. Okay, so next on the list is proteins. So proteins, they're necessary to help carry toxins through the body for elimination. Proteins contain the amino acids that will construct the enzymes needed for your body. The following is a list of acceptable proteins. So again, this list is not exhaustive, and this list does not include meat. So if you feel like you need to eat meat, that's your thing. I don't think that meat should be included in a cleanse, but you know, that's just me, right? So we have split peas and green peas, lentils, brown, red, green, yellow, French. I think there's another type of lentil called like tapui or something like that. Legumes like adzuki, cannellini, chickpeas, black beans, black-eyed peas, and kidney beans. Nuts and seeds, leafy greens. Yes, leafy greens have protein. I think, didn't it say that like broccoli has, was it broccoli that has protein? Yeah, broccoli has a good source of protein. I think kale has protein. I mean, lots of different vegetables have protein. The issue, I think, is that, you know, it doesn't have the B12. It's really the meat that has B12. So like if you're concerned that you're missing out on something by not consuming meat, it's really just like the B12. So you could probably just get a B12 supplement and you'll be fine. Okay. And then plant-based protein powder is the last thing that I put on my list. And, you know, depending on how serious you are about like cleansing, I think that using a protein powder is okay. But, you know, not all protein powders are created equally. So again, be mindful of the protein powder that you're choosing. So two of the protein powders that I like to use are KOS and MRM. Okay, and the reason why I like these is because they're plant-based, first of all. I believe they use pea protein, although I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe it's pea protein. They both also, depending on which ones you get, have a digestive enzyme already in them. So, you know, that's really nice. I'm actually going to go down further on the, like, what I'm going to talk about, the herbs and supplements. And a digestive enzyme is one of the things that you should be taking on a cleanse. But if you're using a plant-based protein powder that contains the digestive enzymes, you don't have to worry about taking a digestive enzyme because it's already going to be in there. Okay, so also another thing to look out for when you are choosing a plant-based protein powder is to find one that is only sweetened with natural sweeteners. Like, so for example, KOS uses monk fruit as a sweetener. I don't know what MRM uses, I forget. It might be stevia, it might be coconut sugar. I don't remember exactly. But they both use natural sweeteners, and so that's why, you know, I don't mind using them. Yeah, so I have used protein powder during a cleanse. Like if I don't feel like juicing, that's something that you should eliminate from your diet if you have like an immune issue. You know, so I'm not recommending anything that, you know, you wouldn't normally use, or something that, you know, your doctor doesn't recommend, or your nutritionist or your health practitioner. You know, so please kind of like, you know, do your own research and follow what feels right for your body and what you know of, you know, about your own health. Yeah, so I'm not going to go too much more into that. Although, I mean, I think it should be said, it's pretty obvious, like, okay, so how are you, you know, how are you going to ingest, you know, the oils if you're not necessarily cooking, you know, like if you're eating raw food, you know, so for example, you could put coconut water, coconut milk, or coconut oil in, you know, your protein shake, for example. So that would be a way to get, like, you know, your fats in. You know, if you're eating a salad, obviously make your own salad dressing and the oil would be used there. The same with the roast vegetables, you're going to use oil there. Seeds, you know, you can put that on anything, right? You can put that in your smoothie, you can put that in your salad, you can put that on your vegetables. You know, so there's a lot of different ways that you can actually incorporate healthy fats into your cleanse. Okay, so we're going to move on to the last thing on our list, which is herbs and supplements. Oh my gosh, my computer is going to die. It's at 4% and I don't have a charger. Okay. So when cleansing, the goal is to remove toxins and waste from your body, right? So, you know, you also want to replenish nutrients. And the herbs and supplements that I've listed, they will assist your body in replenishing, either eliminating the toxins or replenishing the nutrients, or both. Okay, so again, do your own research, you know, speak to your healthcare provider. I am not like a doctor or, you know, that kind of medical professional. I'm not a nutritionist. I don't know your situation. So, you know, please, you know, speak to whoever you need to speak to see if any of the things that I'm suggesting will be right for you and your health. Okay, so we have sea moss. Sea moss is my number one. Sea moss is bay. Sea moss is a type of seaweed that contains vitamins A, C, E, as well as iodine, carotene, and sulfuric compounds, potassium, calcium, selenium, magnesium, iron, manganese, B vitamins, folate, riboflavin. Okay, so it's also a natural laxative and a diuretic. So it's perfect for a cleanse because it's putting nutrients back into your body as well as helping you to eliminate toxins. Number two, digestive enzymes. Digestive enzymes help you to break down food into smaller nutrients so that they can be absorbed by the body, okay? Digestive enzymes also help to minimize gas and bloating. So they're really good for, if you're eating a lot of vegetables, sometimes that can increase the gas and bloating, or if you're not used to eating beans and you're doing a plant-based cleanse and now you're eating a little bit more beans, the digestive enzymes will help to break that down, will help to break down the beans, right? So so that you don't get the gas and bloating. I was gonna show you guys which one I use. I use a vegetarian supplement called Digest All. I get it from Lazy Acres, which is like a health food store near me. So I would recommend using obviously a vegetarian digestive enzyme. Okay, so next up is black walnut. Black walnut contains high levels of protein, and it's packed with vitamin A, fiber, and iron. It's also a good source of antioxidants and good fats. So black walnut is actually in a supplement that I'm using. So I'm not taking just the black walnut. It has other things in it too. But I put it on the list here because if you're thinking about getting a supplement, this is a good one for a cleanse. Then we have wormwood. Wormwood contains strong bitter agents that stimulate the digestive and gallbladder functions, and it has been used to treat intestinal worms. It tastes nasty. It's really, really bitter. It's kind of like mugwort. Some people say that high levels of wormwood can be toxic. Again, please speak to your healthcare practitioner before using any of the things that I've suggested here. I just have to put that out there. Okay, Pau d'Arco. Pau d'Arco contains antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral chemicals. I've heard that the chemicals that do these things don't dissolve great in water, so it's not super beneficial to drink a tea. I have it in tea form. Now that I found that out, I might just kind of open up the tea bag and just kind of throw it in something else, right? So that it isn't in water, because apparently that's not a great way to ingest Pau d'Arco. But I digress. Cloves. Cloves protects the liver and digestive function, treats headaches, maintains healthy blood sugar levels, strengthens the immune system, and has antibacterial properties. So yeah, clove I think is also toxic in high levels. Just as a side note, I mean, I don't know who would pop 20 cloves in their mouth. That would be disgusting. But yeah, I sometimes put a few little cloves in my tea. If I'm using my loose tea, I might put in some cloves. I also make a really nice golden milk, which we can talk about at a later date, that has cloves in it. Anyway, moving on, because my computer is going to die soon, is rosemary. Rosemary contains antioxidants, antimicrobial, and anti-inflammatory compounds. It boosts the immune system and improves blood circulation, improves memory and focus, and regulates blood sugar. So yeah, rosemary is a queen bee. Rosemary is awesome. It's up there with sea moss, really. So yeah, get your hands on some rosemary and put it in your tea, put it in your food, put it in everything. It's really, really good for you. Okay, so we have marshmallow root, which is great as a diuretic and aids in digestion, and psyllium husks, which lowers cholesterol, relieves constipation, diarrhea, and other intestinal problems, and regulates blood sugar. Okay, so if you guys would like this list of items, just let me know and I'll be more than happy to send this document. I might just make like a little checklist for those of us who are doing